today's world, there's a saying, we are drowning with data, but starving for wisdom.
Yeah.
What it means is, we can get a lot of data today, but a good leader will be able to identify the data that is relevant to address the business problem.
Welcome back to the Signature TalkCast, a platform where we always bring new insights to you. Today's episode, we have our special guest who fly all over from Malaysia to here to share his wisdom with us again. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Prabagaran Jayaraman, fondly known as Dr. Prabha. Good morning.
Good morning, Liwan. Good to see you again.
Yes, good to see you again as well. And thank you very much for joining us for the second time, sharing all your experience and knowledge regarding, especially on the learning and development for leaders. So, how are you so far?
Very well. I'm excited to be back in Cambodia. We just conducted a leadership training, and we've incorporated some element of AI into that.
I see. So from the previous episode, I believe our audience, they get a lot of new perspective from you regarding to the learning and development, especially for the learning transfer for leadership, of course. However, due to the evolvement of the technology in this era, so today we are going to discuss more on the leadership in the artificial intelligence AI world. So before starting that, because I heard that you also have the academy, so could you please explain and tell us more a little bit about your academy?
Sure. I recently launched an academy known as Prabagaran Academy. Actually, it's an inspiration from the famous Khan Academy. So Prebagaran Academy is basically a gathering of industry experts. Many of them are my good friends. And as you are aware, I'm passionately involved with the learning transfer, being certified in Kirkpatrick and also the 12 levers for learning transfer from Institute for Transfer Effectiveness. So in this Prabagaran Academy, we are focusing on teaching leadership, project management, learning and development, incorporating AI and focusing on learning transfer. I'm excited to this journey.
Let me go straight to the first question. So as the world evolving very fast and AI right now, they helps a lot with the task. How about us as a human, especially for leaders? What are the human leadership skills that leaders should learn, and how could they acquire those skills effectively?
Sure, this is a very interesting question. Many people worry about AI, whether AI will replace human or AI will become smarter than human. I've been learning about AI in the recent years, and one thing for sure, human intelligence is always the key. And leaders, especially when they want to master AI or lead an AI project, they must have a clear human factors. Recently, there was a very interesting article from MIT, the famous Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where brilliant AI experts, scientists and engineers talk about AI and philosophy. So human factor is very, very important. And many of us know one of the key requirements for AI is actually the data. But in order for you to make meaning of data, you need to understand, interpret the data. And in order to interpret, we must be able to have a human skill known as empathy. Many of us have heard about empathy. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are using AI to enhance farmers. But if a group of experts from a university or from the government institution, they talk about farming without input from the farmers, they won't be able to develop a good AI model. Like in project, we call that the requirement analysis. So AI, those who are developing AI, they must have empathy. Empathy is ability to see something from the other person's perspective. So for that, human factor is very, very important. And Liwan, you asked an interesting question, how to teach human factor?
Yes.
So in training, it must always be experiential, learning by doing, storytelling, and one of the most important in human factor is living it. Walk the talk, be a role model. I love one quote by Stephen Covey who says, to be trusted, we must be trustworthy. So these are in summary. If you want to talk about human factor, it's very, very important in AI, no matter how advanced the technology. And in order to teach it, we must create an experiential learning, and both leaders and the teachers must be a role model.
That's very interesting when you mention about data. So what are the skills that leaders need to acquire even more? Because there are many data that they need to analyze and transform from data into information, and of course for the smart decision, because all leaders, they need to make the decision making. So how can they transfer that related to AI literacy?
Wonderful. This is very, very interesting because in today's world, there's a saying, we are drowning with data but starving for wisdom.
Yeah.
What it means is we can get a lot of data today, but a good leader will be able to identify the data that is relevant to address the business problem. So in order to do an AI project, instead of talking about the AI technology, we should focus on what problem are we solving. So once we understand that, we should be able to be clear what type of data we need. We should not be accumulating data.
Yeah.
We should be focusing on what kind of data we need. So when the leader is able to identify the type of data, then there's an element called data preparation. I'm so excited to be sitting for an exam called Cognitive Project Management for AI. This is a methodology for AI project introduced by Project Management Institute in collaboration with Cognilytica, an amazing institution which has been focusing on AI. So answering your question, first and foremost, leaders must be clear what solution is this AI project bringing.
Yeah.
What problem is it trying to solve? Then the fundamental question, what data we need? And in reality, data can be coming in many forms. It could be records, it could be pictures, it could be a diagram, it could be observation, it could be interview, focus group. This is an element. My research happened to be in qualitative research. So we are trained to bring meaning from data from multiple sources. So I wish leaders are very, very clear what data they need before deciding for the data collection methodology and analyzing the data.
That's very interesting again, because you were saying that the data in have many different forms. So what about the basic AI concept and terminology? Can you elaborate it more on that?
Sure. I don't want to pretend that I am an AI expert. I'm far from that. But luckily, I am working with AI expert. So, for example, currently I am working for a project where we are developing agentic AI. It's actually a tool which we already done a pilot project. Here I'm working with an IT expert, AI expert, a programmer, a young guy, actually only like my daughter's age. So one thing that leader, in this case I'm the project leader and the project owner, we must understand the basics. Prior to coming to the project, I was not even clear. The relationship, for example, what is algorithm? What is model? What is neural network? What is hallucination of AI? Remember, AI can have hallucination. So I suggest leaders to have this beginner's mind for them to go back to learn the basics of AI, not to become an expert in developing codes or model, but at least ask the right question and seek suggestions and work collaboratively. So, in my opinion, AI is always a collaborative effort between an experienced leader and an experienced AI expert. either a programmer or developer, so that the collaborative work, and also there's a term we call co-intelligence, meaning intelligence from the AI and intelligence from human must be collaborative.
So how can a leader they build a culture so that they make sure that their team also learning and constantly apply those learning into their day-to-day job?
Sure. This is very interesting again, Liwan. In today's world, I think this is all the time, but more so today. There's a saying, a man who graduated today and stopped learning tomorrow is uneducated the next day. So one thing the leaders and their entire team must be aware that constant learning, lifelong learning is a key requirement. And not necessarily they go for formal classes or university and so on. No. In AI itself, like what you mentioned just now, it's iterative.
Yes.
Meaning, iterative when they're getting data, when you are testing it, when you are operationalizing it, you should be able to look for the data and analyze whether it's actually addressing the real issue. I strongly suggest don't go into sort of shopping for the latest tool, the latest technology. I remember one of my teacher once mentioned, a professor in the university, a fool with a tool is still a fool. Not so pleasant, but what it means here is just because you have advanced AI technology does not mean you are going to bring a great solution. So we must be crystal clear what is the business problem that we are addressing and what is the optimum technology for it. Not necessarily the most advanced technology. And AI is a continuous learning because the model requires continuous training. It's not like pre-programmed. Let's say you develop the old program. Once the program is done, it is sort of settled. But AI is generative, meaning you got to continuously feed the AI with the change, with the data. And this is where a leader with wisdom and AI technologists who could be a very young but expert, they need to collaborate. And they need to review, and some AI tools or situation that works in one place may not work in another place. So in Cambodia, for example, the experts here must reflect whether the tools is bringing the desired result and keep, the operative word here is iterative. That means keep repeating, reflecting, and feed the right information to the AI model and keep enhancing it.
I see. How about when we choosing the tool? Of course, they start to do it again and again and start feeding the AI. However, as us, as a human, when they start to go into the AI tools, they are new. I'm sure they are new, and somehow they can have a mistake on that. So how can we correct or back up on those mistakes, and how to reinforce the application of AI into the work?
You brought a very significant point, spot on, because when we started our own AI project, we faced a similar problem. So the market is full of multiple tools. So a person, I'm not a technologist, so I get advice from the AI technologists and invest on the right tool. For example, as I mentioned, we are working on agentic AI, whereby we are producing a tool to enhance learning. So just to do that, I need to invest. I'm using ChatGPT, Gemini, and multiple other tools in the most cost-effective way. I don't know the detail, but when my AI expert asks, I ask the basic question, why? What is the cost? Is it cost-effective? Is it bringing the return of investment? And when we ask this kind of question, when they give answers, we need to invest on the right tool, and they are the expert, the AI experts, these guys, the technologists, they will know how to integrate the tool. And we are focused on cost, make sure it's cost effective, make sure it's affordable, sustainable, yet it's bringing the required solution that normal human factors cannot bring. For example, scaling. The tools that we are doing now, it can just, you give a script, within minutes, it can produce a video.
Yes.
And within minutes, it can translate into multiple language,
Yes.
which in normal recording, we are unable to do that.
Yeah.
So when you are developing an AI, we must always answer why AI and why not human, and what are the benefits. So these are the basic tools, or rather basic questions or checklists, if I may we as a leader must be familiar with that.
How can AI and digital tools make leadership development more effective? And what are the risks that can happen on that?
This is very, very interesting question again. In today's world, many trainers, teachers, ChatGPT is sort of our day-to-day tool.
Yeah.
So something that I recently shared and I learned from one professor from America is our question, our discussion must be clear. If in training world or teaching world, if you are looking at or rather assessing a learner based on the content, they can easily generate from ChatGPT.
Yes.
So now I think one of the very, very important skill is about the art of communicating with your AI tool. For example, ChatGPT. Here is where the skill for prompt engineering
Yes.
is very, very important. So both learners and the learning facilitators, whether teachers, university professors, or professional trainers, our art of teaching must be focusing on, are we helping the learners to use right prompting? Are they communicating well? Are they using AI as a servant or as a tool or our assistant by asking the right question? So this is something I found. Sometimes if you ask the wrong question, you get the wrong answer.
Yes.
Sometimes in IT we said garbage in, garbage out. So our prompt is what are we feeding
Yes.
the tools. So this is one aspect I think is the ecosystem of learning, whether the student, the teachers, the examination board, they must be familiar that AI is a technology that all of us must use, but that should not replace the basic of creative thinking, analytical thinking, reflective thinking. This cannot be replaced, and AI should not replace that. And for us, as I mentioned, in Prabagaran Academy, we are optimizing the agentic AI, meaning me or my trainers cannot be in many places at the same time. But when we develop our agentic AI, it can replace us, but there's always element of what we call as human loop, meaning it cannot generate the content without our permission.
Yes.
So that is something we are excited, we are experimenting. In fact, in the last Project Management Institute conference in Malaysia, known as PRISM, we showed our initial project. But I must admit, it's still in the infant stage. We are still exploring and developing, but the result is pretty exciting. So, in my opinion, in the training world, tools like ChatGPT, the art of prompting, or better known as prompt engineering, the art of using agentic AI and multiple other tools, I myself is still learning, and we all must be constant learners, both the trainers and the student, so that AI become a good tool to go back and bring value for human.
Yes.
To enhance the quality of life, to bring solution to a problem.
So when it comes to the ethical risk, is there anything that we need to be aware of the risk that AI might give us when we give the prompt, even if it is the right prompt or what, but with the different context?
Yep, this is very, very important question. Recently, in the AI world, it is published well. Gemini, for example, when they ask about, if I remember correctly, American history, they mixed up with diversity, equity, and inclusion. So they gave some Black American, Asian, and the answer become very confusing.
Yes.
Because the AI was trained about diversity.
Yes.
But on the expense of historical facts. So here what I mean by AI must be challenged. And there must always be element of human to verify that. Because remember, AI works on data.
Yes.
What are we feeding? And one thing recently I learned from one of my, I would say, AI guru or AI coach. His name is Seshav. Seshav, if you are watching Uncle Talking, thank you very much. He is a young guy, actually, on the age of my son. And he taught me, he brought a subject called hallucination. He said, Uncle, AI can have hallucination. When I asked him more, what is it? He said, AI can present literally bullshit in a very intelligent way.
Yeah.
So human must be very careful in assessing AI and always go back to the expert and context.
Yes.
For example, there's something I would like to explore, the concept called cultural intelligence. Meaning a culture, for example, from America may not work in Cambodia.
Yeah.
So our answer in America may not work in Cambodia or Malaysia or any part of the world.
Yes.
So we must always verify whether the answer that the AI giving or the suggestions that AI giving is contextual. Is it relevant?
Yes.
In our culture? So this is something, no matter what, the human element is always important. The cultural values, the local context is always important.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And for our further discussion, we will continue in the next episode. So stay tuned.
Beyond Premier, the signature banking experience.